Good morning. How's everyone today? Little change of pace. We're bouncing back and forth between the jobs and the axe handles, and I wanted to talk today about I call it next level painting. They wanted an accent wall. They had a picture off of Pinterest. Sorry, I have to find my coffee. Basically what this consists of is up the top, we've got a 4 1/4 piece of crown, a 1x8, and a 1x6, I'm sorry, and a 1x8 at the bottom with the new baseboard. We went with a 4 1/4 baseboard, upgraded. And then we did, in the field, we did 1x2s. Now this was all S4S poplar. We didn't fool around with pine. It just isn't worth it. Anyway, this kind of a color and the kind of look that we're going for, and I have to stress, there's a decorator involved and there's colors that are specific, and you know, we're adhering to a paint chip, so we're not just getting paint on the wall and being done with it. And there's an order of operations. So we've got 2 primer coats on this because we had a sky blue on there, on the walls. And instead of using plywood for the field and going with that, we're actually using the drywall. So all of this 3/4 inch material is nailed and glued to the wall. Since you're not going to hit studs, you have to glue it to keep it in place. We just used liquid nails, and it saved a lot of money. We were looking at $50, $60 a sheet for 1/4 inch plywood, and these are 9-foot ceilings up to the bottom of the coffer, so we'd have a seam somewhere, and it was just going to be problematic. Extra labor. Some of that labor is a wash because we're having to basically, and that's my next point, in order for these panels to look right, the first thing we did was we took an orbital sander and 150 grit and sanded the orange peel texture off of the drywall. Fortunately, it was minimal. If you have a sand texture, you're going to have to do some wall work, maybe even some scraping. Just depends, but it's best to get this wall the surface as flat as you can, because that's what's going to sell it as far as looking like a wood panel. The top coat is so dark that we're on our 3rd coat right now. The next coat will be the 4th coat. I mean, we can still see the primer underneath it, and basically we're rolling it on in the panels and knocking the texture down, and that's really key again to selling these panels as being wood. So basically, we're going for a true color to the paint chip, which I believe is it's called Blue Harbor, and so there's a lot of color in it. And this last step is by design. So what we did was, like I said, we've got 2 coats of primer plus a spot prime, and between each primer coat, even before the first primer coat, we took care of as many blemishes as we could see. Second coat of primer, more blemishes, still running nail pop paint and a little sun. And we saw more needed to be done. And I found there's like these horizontal indents, lines in the wall. I'm not sure what they're from, but they're all at the same height. But anyway, the prep continues. Got everything caulked, so, and that's looking good. And, you know, nail pops, cracks, anything that you see, you need to drywall compound, sand it flat, and just keep going with that. The 3/4 inch thick material got brushed, and then the panels got cut in and then rolled out, and then with a wet, not with water, but with paint, a wet 4-inch brush, dragging the panel flat. And we used Floetrol to help it flow out. Now, let's see if we can get back. So you can see, hurting my finger, you can see how it's covering. And I mean, the first coat, it just looked like it was kind of smeared on. But you can see also the actual wood, how flat that looks. We're trying to get that to lay as flat as the wood. We're hoping that this is the last coat. I'm gonna wet sand this with 320, just basically with water, and 3M makes these really nice sanding sponges. I am going to sand the panels, not the 3/4 inch stuff, but I'm gonna sand as many blemishes out of this as possible. Again, you're trying to sell the drywall as looking as wood. So that's really where it's at. I think I'm going to turn the time lapse on, and we can talk about it later. It's all in the prep work, and it's all in being methodical and not getting in a hurry and having the patience to. In this case, this is a master bedroom. They're not going to paint this room for quite a while. They're going to be looking at this for 15 or 20 years. So the room's painted. We're in our last coats of this wall, and we'll see what we see. So, yeah, it's exciting. Okay, well, it's now afternoon, and I think the bulk of our prep is finished. I did, before I left for lunch, I did cut the crown molding in with help of the tape. Look at the crown molding, it came out super nice. We're on the road to getting that look that we want, but patience is the main ingredient here, and knowing enough about paint and whatnot that you can achieve what you want to do. If this was oil, we'd probably be done by now, because oil-based paint has a much thicker viscosity and you get a much higher build per coat. Latexes aren't like that. They're very thin and still rubbery. So you have to get that paint build that you want, you have to put a lot of coats on, and you're actually, once, like where we are now with this, we're sanding paint, we're not sanding drywall. And that's all we want to do. So 320 is really where you want to be. You could go finer, you could go 400, but 320 is kind of where the box stores max out. I mean, I go all the way up to 2,000 at the shop, but I'm not going to bring 2,000 out to the job because there's no need for it. So anyway, we're going to go back to the time lapse, and I'm going to cut this in, and then I'll do the panels last. The drywall panels are flat, texture-wise, as good as they can be. We got 4 coats of finish, but you can see what that build of paint does. It dominates the wall, which is what we want. We have a tin ceiling going in up here, but you know, I think I'll take it. We'll see how good my my fine line hand is tomorrow. Today I'm shot, but anyway. So that is basically how to do an accent wall utilizing the drywall as panels and painting it up to where it looks like something really good. We'll see you on the next one.